Sun Sol Suckland, the eldest son of the King of Suckland, was raised to value fairness and justice. Despite his disappointments with most nobles, he hopes to find virtuous peers at St. Noel Academy. He is impressed by Mia Lund Tearmoon's bold stand against bullying, seeing in her the qualities of a just ruler. Mia, on the other hand, sought advice from Anne on making a good impression to find a partner and enjoyed the simple pleasures of taking a bath, influenced by the hardships of her previous life. Her encounter with the influential Rufina Orca Beluga highlighted her determination to uphold her two cardinal rules.
Mia sat in the bath, the water up to her shoulder, feeling the heat sunk into her body. Just as a comfortable gaze began to settle in her head, she heard Rufina speak. "By the way, Princess Mia, did you know an entrance party is going to be held the day after tomorrow?"
Entrance party? I don't believe so.
Mia tilted her head. She doesn't remember hearing about something like that. Not now, nor in the previous timeline. She wondered why, though not for very long. She got her answer immediately. "Haven't you heard? It is a dance party to welcome the new students. I thought someone had invited you to the dance already."
That is right. I remember now. I've completely erased that awful time from my memory.
In the previous timeline, Mia thought she was destined to end up with Prince Xian. Because of that, she took for granted he would invite her to dance, and the gossip she heard from those around her only strengthened that belief. This, of course, led to tragedy. After all, Prince Xian had no intention of inviting her. But because she said it in advance, no one would invite her either. Around the end of the party, some people finally noticed her alone and approached her, but they were all familiar faces from her own country. They all had a concerned, troubled smile on their faces, so Mia's pride didn't allow her to accept the offer. In the end, Mia was forced to enjoy a lonesome night.
Never again. I refuse to go through that again.
Fortunately, this time she didn't lie about having a dance promise with Xian. There is certainly someone interested in inviting her. Maybe? Probably. Right?
There are, right? Please.
Mia caught herself just as she was about to pray to a higher power. She quickly shook her head.
No, this kind of weak attitude won't do. I need to be more assertive. Besides, this is a great opportunity to build connections.
That's right. Mia took a moment to remember her two cardinal rules. The first is to avoid making connections with dangerous people, and the second is to make connections with people who can help her. The first one already went downhill, but it's just the beginning for the second. She had to actively look for opportunities. In the past, Mia tried to win over the top bachelor in the world, Sion Sol Sungland. After all, Sion is handsome and his smile is very refreshing. In short, Mia was all about the looks. Furthermore, there was no match for his swordsmanship, not even his seniors, let alone his classmates. In tournaments, he bravely confronted his opponents even if they were bigger than him. The rest of the time, he was kind and gentle, so there is nothing to complain about. Or so Mia thought. Now she knew how grown she'd been. Mia, who was guillotined because of him, though not directly, saw through his perfect persona, or so she believed anyway. She knew him to be a fake. That said, regardless of his personality, it was impossible for her to take the first prince as a husband to begin with. There is no way Mia, the only heir to the Tearmoon Empire, would be sent to marry abroad. And it is very unlikely the Kingdom of Songland would send their first prince to marry matrilineally.
If anything, the right target to aim for shouldn't have that much of the chance of inheriting the throne. Something like a second prince, or lower.
While she was thinking about it, one person came to her mind. While not as large as those two first-class nations, the Tearmoon Empire and the Kingdom of Songland, among the medium-sized kingdoms, there was one that was relatively large and boasted a fairly substantial military power. Moreover, although it is a little far from the Tearmoon Empire, it is located on the opposite side of the Kingdom of Songland, creating a geographical sandwich of sorts. The country is called the Kingdom of Remno. Unfortunately, our Remno, the second prince of the kingdom, is a classmate of Mia. If Abel was to marry her, or at least become a lover, she would be able to ask for reinforcement when the Kingdom of Songland attacks. This way, they could go for a pincer attack.
I was planning on approaching him slowly after school started, but it seems that is no longer possible.
As soon as they left the public bath and entered the room, Mia said to Anne,
"Time for the strategy meeting. Anne, I'm mobilizing all of your knowledge about love and romance."
Upon hearing Mia's words, Anne quickly straightened her posture. "I understand, Mia-sama. I will devote all my energy and wisdom to you." Mia nodded satisfactorily to the enthusiastic reply. Mia didn't know that Anne's knowledge which she was relying on, came entirely from the romance novel written by her sister. She never imagined that Anne, who is 5 years older than her, was a novice in romance who hasn't even had her first love yet. She didn't even imagine.
I will be counting on you, Anne. I feel like I have an army of 10,000 troops by my side.
However, the 10,000 troops are nothing more than paper mache. The winters in the Tearmoon Empire are cold. At its coldest, it snows, and the puddles of waters are covered in ice. The prison where Mia was locked up was also a cold place, so much so, a person would freeze if they stayed still for too long. In such a cold prison, Mia's delicate but untidy naked body was exposed to the outside air.
Eeg! It's so cold.
Yes, it is winter already. Today is the one day of the week she gets water to cleanse her body.
Honestly, I'm not really in the mood for it.
Wiping her body with water is not a big deal in the summer, but in the winter it is hard on the body, and there are even small ice blocks floating in the water as a form of harassment. But missing this opportunity means waiting a week before water comes again. Living with the dirt in her body for an entire week was hard enough already, much less two. Mia had no choice but to take off her clothes and wipe her skin full of goosebumps. Anne put her hand in the bucket of water while looking at Mia's white back. The water with ice floating in it was so cold that it hurt. Anne remembered the face of the person who had handed the bucket with a nasty grin on his face, and felt anger boiling inside. She tried to protest once, but was simply ignored and the situation stayed the same. She had no choice but to warm the work cloth in her hands before using it, so Mia doesn't get cold. This was her little silent resistance that no one will ever know. Well, Mia knew though. Since it was awkward to remain silent for long periods of time, Anne always tried to talk to Mia about various things. And the topic of the day was...
A big bath?
That's right! There is a public bathhouse in town with a big bathtub full of hot water. Did you know?
Eh? It is my first time hearing of it.
Anne continues her story while wiping Mia's back with the cloth that had warmed up to a certain extent. I sometimes go with my sisters. When I stop by after work, it is like all my fatigue is being washed away. The other day, Anne continues to talk about the fun time she has with her sisters. Her voice was calm and gentle. In Mia's eyes, Anne's appearance was dazzling.
I wish I was there with you.
Mia swallowed her small wish without saying it. She knew it was a wish that couldn't be fulfilled. She knew saying it out loud would do nothing more than bother Anne. Instead, Mia smiled and said,
I don't know how you can enjoy something like that. It is a thing for commoners, after all.
Mia-sama. Anne was not angry at the spiteful remark. Instead, she realized the smile of Mia's face was lonely and felt sad to see the former proud princess dropping her shoulders. However, comforting her here wasn't an option. It would only hurt Mia's pride. After thinking for a while, Anne decided to play a little prank. She dipped her fingertips in the cold water and ran her fingers down Mia's neck. Take this!
Yeah!
Mia's delicate body bounced up and down. Anne smiled at Mia, who turned around in surprise. How is it? Is it fun? I thought you wouldn't understand by just talking about it, so I gave you a demonstration. Take this!
Yes! Stop it, Anne! Hey!
After having her neck and sides touched non-stop by Anne's cold hands, Mia puffed up her cheeks.
You better remember, Anne. If I ever get to take a bath with you, I will have my revenge. I'm quite a vindictive person, just so you know.
Oh, that's too bad. That is totally impossible. A princess and a commoner can take a bath together.
Oh? I don't know about that. If the day comes when I can leave this place, I will not be a princess anymore, will I? If my status is revoked, I'll be a commoner, just like you. Of course, we can go to the bath together then, can't we?
Anne smiled back at Mia, who had that determined smile. That is true. Then, let's go together. I will look forward to your revenge. Mia knew way too well that day would never come. The day when Mia could leave her prison was the day of her execution. Anne probably knew that as well. However, Mia was grateful for Anne from the bottom of her heart for answering with an honest smile without glooming over it.
At that time, I didn't think the opportunity would really arrive.
Even after her transmigration, that promise wasn't easy to fulfill. If you think about it, there is no way an imperial princess could go to a public bathhouse made for commoners. On the other hand, there is no way Anne would be able to take a bath in the castle either, since it was a bath built for Mia. Even then, Mia really wanted to take a bath with Anne. She wanted to experience the fun of taking a bath together with other girls, like the story she was told. The opportunity came to her soon after arriving at St. Noel Academy, but...
I couldn't take my time back then since Rufina was there.
And then...
Anne, shall we go take a bath?
A few days after meeting Rafina in the bath, Mia invited Anne to go there once again. Similar to the other day, the large communal bath was empty. The big grin of Mia's face tells that if it's like that, she feels comfortable to join Anne without hesitation. Well, even if there was someone else, Mia wouldn't let them complain. Then, Mia-sama, allow me to wash your back. Anne, with her long red hair, quietly knelt beside Mia. Looking at that, Mia makes a suggestion without wasting any time.
Hey Anne, why don't we wash each other again?
Mia doesn't want to just bath together. She also wants to have fun. In short, she wants them to play with each other. The other day, she washed Anne's back, but she was too nervous and stiff. That is not how she was told it was in the stories. What Mia yearns for is a fun bath where they splash water at each other, and so on. So today, Mia was fired up to get her revenge. Yes, revenge. No, you see, Mia-sama, you know, right? That's... She tried to resist as before, Mia said with a grim face.
I'm sorry, Anne. This is an order. You know how selfish I am, right? Well, sit there. I will go first.
Today, Mia will take her revenge by force, if needed. So a few minutes after she started to wash Anne's clothes back...
Huh, that is strange. Anne, you are still nervous after all. This is no fun.
Mia puffed off her cheeks, frustrated.
I don't know what to do. Oh, that is right.
The previous scene crossed her mind.
Oh, that reminds me.
Mia gave a mischievous smile.
Not only was I indebted to you, but I also had a grudge.
Eh? Mia-sama, what are you talking about? When Anne was about to turn around, Mia opened up a broad smile and pressed her cold palm against Anne's back.
Take this.
Yeah! With a funny scream, Anne jumped up. What are you doing, Mia-sama?
Hehe, it is payback. Revenge.
Revenge? Anne tilted her head in confusion, but when she saw Mia smiling happily, she understood what she was looking for and smiled back. Mia-sama, do you remember what Rafina-sama said? In this place, where we rid ourselves of our clothes, there are no princesses or commoners.
What?
As soon as she said that, she reached Mia's side. Of course, her hands aren't too cold. There is no intention of using cold water against Mia. However, Anne has a technique she developed by taking baths with her younger sisters. Yes, a fun and enjoyable technique. When she touches Mia's smooth belly, she tickles it with her fingers. Naturally, Mia had never been tickled before. No one would dare to do something like that. Mia, who had no immunity whatsoever, jumped up and down just as planned.
Eh?
Not only that, but Anne had mastered the art of tickling in her battles with her sisters.
No.
Mia couldn't compete with her, and was tickled down in a one-sided battle. And thus, Mia, the Avenger, was dumbly defeated and enjoyed the bath from the bottom of her heart. By the way, the next day, Rafina smiled at her while saying, "Please be quiet in the communal bath, Mia-san." Mia, scared and with tears in her eyes, thought,
I knew it. I shouldn't take revenge anymore.
And her heart was filled with a new determination, and they lived happily ever after. This was the story of Mia's revenge. Yes, no matter what anyone says, it is a revenge story. Now, back to the regularly scheduled story. I think dropping something might be a good idea.
Huh?
Ansurin's words made Mia blink her eyes. Mia leans her head a little, wondering what on earth the girl is saying. But Anne continues with a confident expression as if she knows the truths of the world. Listen, Mia-sama, for people to get to know each other, it is important to have a neutral reason.
Yes, I'm aware of that, but...
What Anne said was true. Starting a conversation with a complete stranger out of the blue was difficult. It takes a lot of courage. It is pretty much impossible for the chicken-hearted Mia. In addition, when it comes to inviting someone to a dance, there is another problem. Among noble circles, it is widely accepted that girls were asked to dance, and their efforts should be focused on making themselves appealing to attract such requests. If a girl were to ask a boy out, a bad rumor might start stating said girl is shameless, or even worse. As such, in order to be invited to dance, Mia first needs to create an encounter that feels natural, get to know the person, and become approachable. Of course, it is not impossible to be invited to dance by a complete stranger. It is not uncommon for boys to invite someone to dance without making an arrangement beforehand. However, the title of Imperial Princess is too intimidating for that to happen. In the first place, Mia only started to be called the Saint and the Wisdom of the Empire recently. It is something only neighboring countries with a good information network know. Before that, she was known as a selfish and arrogant princess, and no one would like to talk to such a person. Therefore, while she has time, Mia has to show her appeal and that she isn't scary. Easier said than done. And that's where dropping something comes in. Imagine this. If you drop something in a natural manner in front of the gentleman you want to approach, what does Miya-sama think is going to happen?
I see. If I drop something in front of him, it would be natural for him to pick it up.
Exactly. And while thanking him, Miya-sama can naturally talk about the dance party. And if he hasn't made an appointment yet,
thanks to the conversation opportunity, he can invite me in a natural way. That is a perfect way of doing it.
Mia was deeply impressed by her trusted returner's plan. She never thought Anne had the ability to devise such a meticulous strategy. It was like meeting the commander strategist who plots the battle strategy for the Empire's army. That was the extent of Mia's surprise. If he happens to be a little on the dance side, Miya-sama can invite him as a thank you for what happened before. While it is considered taboo for girls to invite boys, if it's out of gratitude for something else, it wouldn't be considered shameless. Giving a present for no reason is considered a cheap attempt to buy a favor, but doing so as a repayment for a previous favor carried no such scorn. In fact, in the latter case, not doing so would be deemed impolite. And that is not all. Depending on what Miya-sama drops, it is possible to show off your good taste and femininity. I recommend a nice handkerchief.
Amazing, Anne. You're absolutely amazing.
The more she heard, the more she understood the perfection of the Operation Handkerchief Drop. What Mia didn't even realize was that the whole strategy was a situation taken directly from one of Elise's stories. Well, that is not too surprising. The story in question was written at the beginning of Elise's writing career, long before the story Mia was reading. That is why the situation is so rich in dreams and delusions from a young girl. Neither Mia nor Anne noticed anything particularly off about this. The two novices in romance can tell the difference between fiction and reality.
Alright, let's do this.
Slowly, she rose with a grand sense of purpose as she prepared to carry out their masterful plan to drop the handkerchief. At St. Noel Academy, between the boys' and girls' dormitories, there is a beautiful courtyard known as the Garden of Water. It boasted a large fountain and many waterways, suitable for a country with abundant water sources. It was further adorned by a lavish variety of colorful flowers and exuded a thick aura of romance. Many pairs of students had stepped in as friends and left as sweethearts.
It is the perfect place to create an accidental encounter.
Mia squeezed the handkerchief she had prepared and put on a wicked smile. It was the day after she had met Rafina. Thanks to one intel's gathering, Mia had caught wind that Abel would soon be passing by this place, and she was currently sitting on a bench in the courtyard waiting for his arrival. By the way, Mia is wearing the Academy's official uniform. It consists of a brand new blazer and a pleated skirt. Its pure white color with no cloudiness goes in direct contrast to Mia's heart. Dressed in the beautiful uniform, Mia looked innocent and beautiful, just like a saint of the Empire. For some time, she sat alone, listening to the gentle burbling of the fountain. Then, amidst the steady percussion of falling water, she heard something else. Footsteps. Her eyes showed open.
He's here.
With her prey sighted, Mia let out a quick breath and stood up. Mia started walking a little in front of Abel while glancing behind her, waiting for the right moment.
Now.
Handkerchief deployed. It floated gently through the air before descending to the ground, landing right at his feet. Seeing that her aim was true, Mia kept her composure, but in her mind, she was roaring with triumph.
What technique, what precision. I handled that perfectly if I do say so myself. And now.
Mia walked as slowly as possible, waiting to be called. She walked, and walked, and walked, but the call never came.
Isn't this strange?
Craning her neck to assess the handkerchief situation, she saw it, fruitlessly caught in the grass, swaying in the wind.
How come he didn't pick the handkerchief up?
She looked at Abel this time and saw him talking to a nearby girl. Are you in trouble, my dear lady? Mia had completely forgotten something. Between a handkerchief and a girl in need, Abel would go straight to the girl without hesitation and make a move on her if possible. Frivolous, pretentious, and regrettably, also beautiful. That is the essence of the playboy named Averemno. But the misfortunes continue. Huh? Is this a lost item? Someone picked up Mia's handkerchief. With his beautiful silver hair and an oily, dignified face, Mia's worst enemy, Xian, in one graceful motion reached down and picked up the handkerchief. Bringing it up to his eyes, he observed it for a moment and called to the people around him. Did anyone drop their handkerchief?
Whoa, you!
Mia muttered angrily while gritting her teeth. She had to get out. Her primary goal is to not get involved with Xian or Diona. Absolutely never, ever get involved with them. Otherwise, she would be handing them her head on a platter. She had no choice but to withdraw, pretending she didn't notice it. When Mia was about to walk off,
oh, that is Mia-sama's.
The voice of her other enemy, Tuna Rudelbon, joined in to attack.
I borrowed a similar one yesterday, so I'm sure of it.
After saying that, she took out the carefully washed handkerchief and showed it to him. The handkerchief used by Mia were made by an imperial craftsman. The skilled craftsman was very enthusiastic about the personal belongings of the beloved princess, and added a unique and elaborated pattern to the lace around the edges, an irrefutable proof of Mia's ownership.
Oh, there she is. Mia-sama! Really? Girl, really?
Upon realizing that escaping was no longer an option, Mia gracefully turns around, then pats her uniform as if checking her pockets.
Oh, that is true. I must have dropped it by accident. Thank you very much for letting me know.
I see. So this belongs to Her Highness Princess Mia. Saying that, Xion walked up to Mia and bowed with his hand on his chest. I believe this is the first time we've met. I'm Prince Xion Sol Songland of the Kingdom of Songland. I've heard a lot about you, Princess Mia.
My, this is very kind of you. I'm Mia Luna Tearmoon.
Mia lifts the hem of her skirt a little and also bows. She intended to take the handkerchief, say thank you, and get the moons out of there. But just as she turned to leave, I must say, I met you at the right time. I beg your pardon, Your Highness Mia, but have you decided on the dance partner for tomorrow? A chill ran up her spine. If you haven't already, I'd love to apply for the position.
Why? How? What in the moons is even happening right now?
Faced with Sion's radiant smile, which would make any other girl weak in the knees, Mia felt the urge to scream her frustration at the sky.
This is it for this video. We will continue with the story of the Guillotine Princess in the next episode. This was Brian and Marco from Jobless Weebs. Matane!